Hi, my name is Tim, and in this video, I want to show you how I run lyrics for a Sunday morning service. We're going to use a program called OpenLP. You can find that program on the church computer, the worship computer, down below here in the dock. It's also on the laptop. You'll find it in the taskbar. It's also saved as a shortcut on your desktop. To load the program, it is this purple circle here. So click it once, and it will load. Now, before we get into using it, I want to show you a couple different sections that we will be using. So, on the left here, we have the library. So we have a song library. You can see the different tabs: Bibles, presentations, images, media, custom slides. Right now, we only use the songs and the images. Of course, the songs is for the lyrics. The images is what we use for our little COVID slide. It's also what we use for when pastor wants to show pictures during the sermon. When you double click an item here in the left, let's just double click a song, it goes to this preview section. Okay, so the preview is like if it were to run live, but it doesn't send it out live. You'll notice here at the bottom, it already has a theme. And the reason for that is here at the Service Manager top right, there's a theme set. So if I set it to default, double click again, you'll notice it changed to blank. Now, as I single click through the different verses up top here, you can see that they're in just text form. And at the bottom, you see a preview of how it shows up. Now that preview, the words look a bit large. Just because here at home, I don't have a second monitor, so I have to send it to my iPad. And it just has a different resolution, so it doesn't look quite right. The themes are optimized for the worship computer in the sound booth. Now, the live section works just like the preview section, except the live section is what you send to your display. So if I right-click and go live, if it shows up in this right-hand section, that's what I'm working with live. Now, suppose I want to do several different songs together in a set. That is what the Service Manager is for. I can put songs, I can put images, I can put Bible verses, I can put all of that here in the Service Manager. I can set a theme, a default theme, for example. I can, and then below it, you see the theme manager, where I have a few different themes installed here on my computer. Let's go ahead and build a service, just a sample service here. You can do that by right-clicking in the library, and then this option here, add to service. So we'll add a few songs. And then we'll go down to the images tab, single click. And then we'll add our COVID slide, right click, service. Now up here at the top, we can drag these things around. So I put my COVID slide first, and there it is. If I were to go ahead and run songs, we can see what would happen here. You'll notice that with my default theme, it has a black background, and so my songs have a black background right now. I can choose a different one. Let's choose Gold Forest. Let's choose a different song. You'll notice that my background changed when I double-clicked a new item in the Service Manager. At your name, 10,000 reasons. Now, this is a default theme for everything that doesn't already have its own theme. So let's set a specific theme for Amazing Grace. You do that by right-clicking to get this menu and change item theme. Now, you'll notice it just shows a list. So you have to kind of have in mind from the bottom part what you might want. Let's change that to reflection. Now let's see if we double click the title. You'll notice the background changed. So to adopt the new theme, you have to double click the item here. The same thing goes if you change the default theme. Let's change the default theme to sunset. Notice the background didn't change here for Out Your Name. I'm going to have to double click it. And now it changed. And again, up top, you see the verses and choruses and such, the different stanzas for the song, all in text form. And you single click between them to get to the next verse. You can scroll down because some songs, they have a lot of verses and choruses. And so you can scroll down to see all of them. Very straightforward. I want to show you first how you would do this if you came in on a Sunday morning while I'm leading worship. And so I've already created a set list. And so what you need to do is load the set list and make sure it's ready to go for the service. Here's what you do. Up here in the Service Manager, you'll notice we have some icons. We have a Create New Service icon. It's this paper with the plus. We have a Load Existing Service icon. It's this blue file folder. And we have a Save This Service. It's the disk. We want to load an existing service with the file folder. Now notice a pop-up happens because we have a theme that we have made some adjustments to and have not saved it. But we're not going to save this one. We're going to go find a recent service. Now, right now we're using Google Drive because I can sync the files between my house and the church. And so I'm going to find Google Drive here on the left in my Finder window. I'm going to click Worship, OpenLP. And I want to load a service, so we'll do Services. Now, the way I save these services is with a 6-digit date right here at the beginning. And then notice morning worship, afterglow, men's breakfast right here. Then I'll give it a title. But the 6-digit reference, it makes all the files stay in numerical order by date, which makes it really easy to find because the most recent one will always be at the bottom of the list. So we scroll all the way down to the bottom. Click Open. You'll notice the Service Manager changed with the list of the songs that we did Sunday. So we can double click between them. We've got our COVID notice, our first song. Now notice that the first song, it has its own theme already. And then, let's see, You Never Let Go. We'll just use the default. And so it's going to pick up this sunset theme, which is being used for the whole service. Same thing with What a Beautiful Name. And you'll notice that they use whatever that I've already saved, whatever theme is already saved with them. And again, you just click through the lyrics to show it live. And again, the words look pretty bad, but the themes are all optimized for that worship computer set up at church. So you don't have to worry about that. And that is it. For a Sunday morning, you would come in, you would open OpenLP, the application, and then you would load that service and just be ready to go when service starts at 10 a.m. But the goal is to be able to do this without me, which means we need to be able to create a set. We need to be able to actually edit songs and create new songs. So I'm going to show you some of those things now. The first thing, let's go ahead and create a new set for this coming Sunday. Pretty sure what the songs I'm going to use are. And so we're going to, up here in the Service Manager, click the white sheet with the green plus to create a new service. I don't want to save the changes I made. And I want to use the default. I'm just going to go up to the blank theme. Over here on the left. So for now, I still want to add the COVID notice. So I'm going to right click, add to service. And again, that's under my images tab. And then here under songs, we're going to start adding some songs. So my first song I already know is going to be my testimony. Right click, add to service. The second song is going to be Blessed Be Your Name. Right click, add to service. The third song, what was I going to do for the third song? Oh, Whole Heart by Hillsong. Here it is. Right click, add to service. And then I want to do a medley of Good Good Father with also the bridge and chorus of King of My Heart. So I'm going to add both of those. Now, of course, I could create a new song with both those pieces together. It probably would be easier to run the slides that way. However, it's also a very specific use case. And since I already have both those songs in the database, I'm just going to go ahead and add both those songs and challenge my lyric clicker to switch between the songs. So add Good Good Father, add King of My Heart. I will tell them before service, if I remember, of course, that I'm going to do that. But you can see here, my testimony, blessed be your name. Let's add a couple different backgrounds. I want something nice, light, uplifting for the first couple songs that are more upbeat. So I'm going to use Mountain Sky, because you can see here, it's a nice open sky, kind of lifts your spirit visually. Whole Heart, something, I don't know, more intimate, more draw you into the presence of the Lord. So let's use Foggy Trees. Good Good Father and King of My Heart. Definitely more intimate songs, more reflective, more draw you into the Lord's presence. And so let's do a reflection theme right here. So now I click on them and they have their backgrounds. Now, since Good Good Father and King of My Heart will be a medley, I put the same background. So visually it won't seem as disruptive to the congregation while they're singing. And then, so notice I can also click these down arrows if I want to. And it will show the lyrics over here, which makes it nice. For example, in this case, since I'm going to switch to the bridge of King of My Heart, I can have that folded down. So, I'm over here running Good Good Father. We get to the end of it. You're a good, good Father. Then we're going to switch to You Are Good, Good. Oh, you can just immediately double click that chorus, and notice how it'll jump there in live. Okay, so remember, you can single click here in this live section with the text, but on the right in the service manager, you have to double click. But that's handy because then you can just double click to whichever part that I start singing on. And so I'm going to leave that folded down, and I'm going to go ahead and save this. Now, notice it gives a suggested name, which does include a date and a timestamp, but I have my own format that I prefer. And then I want to be more specific about where I choose to save it. So I'm going to press this down arrow here. It gives me more options. And let's see, this is going to be March 7th. So that's going to be 21:03:07. Morning worship. Save. There we go. That's it. Our song set for Sunday is ready to go. It only took a few moments. Now, if all the songs are already created into the database, the one thing to do is I like to double check that I like how the words are formatted. And obviously these parts down here, these previews aren't very helpful in my current setup. So let me go ahead and actually disconnect my iPad. That way, these previews over here will look more like they're supposed to. Okay, let's see what happened here. Okay, and you can see that it shows up. This is much more like what it'll look like on the church worship computer. And so the only thing is, I can't really run live. If you run it live without without another screen attached, watch what happens. Right click, live. Oh, it takes over this screen. Well, that's not exactly what we want. So just keep that in mind. If this happens, if the you go to run it live and it does this on your computer, then you know that something's wrong and your computer isn't registering your other display, or you know OpenLP isn't registering your other display. And so here would be how to fix that. You can press escape to get out of this. You're going to have to connect another display. And so there's a few ways to do that. Let me show you how you would do it on a Mac. It's a little more complicated. You would go to the Apple in the top left, System Preferences, Displays. And then, assuming everything is connected, your hardware is connected properly, then you would have another display option here. Notice I do have AirPlay displays as an option. If I choose my iPad here, there we go. And if I go into my preferences now, preferences in OpenLP is a little different on Mac and PC. So if you're on the worship computer, you can follow these directions exactly. OpenLP, then choose preferences here at the top left. And you'll notice you can select a monitor for where you want to output. Now the menu is the same, but on the PC, the menu is, you get to the menu a different way. You would go to, I believe you would go to Settings, and it says Configure OpenLP, and it takes you to that same settings menu. But on the church laptop, for example, Settings, Configure OpenLP. Let me show you a couple more options for when you're running live. Suppose the worship leader goes into a time of spontaneous worship when they're singing lyrics or praying a prayer or reading scripture where they don't have lyrics for the song or for what's happening. You can keep the background, but then remove the lyrics, which by keeping the background, it still feels connected. But then by removing the lyrics, people won't be distracted thinking, why aren't the lyrics changing? You can do that here on this right-hand side. You'll notice in the middle you have 3 buttons. And if you hover, blank screen, blank to theme, show desktop. So from time to time, we'll use all of these options. So let's actually go ahead and set a theme here. And let's go ahead and send this to live right here. So now my theme is loaded. This is clicked on. So even if I click the different words, it's just going to show the background. Now if I click it off, now it's going to pop up on whatever lyrics are happening. We get to the, let's see, we get to the chorus. I worship your holy name. I worship your holy name. This is spontaneous worship. We worship you, Lord. You are good. You are mighty. And then I switch to a blank theme so that the congregation knows this is just kind of a spontaneous moment that's happening. And there aren't any words. And that's fine, by the way. That happens from time to time. Just think of it as prayer with song. But anyway, you click it off, you're back to the words. Let's suppose you want to just make the screen go blank, which is real nice for during the sermon. That way you don't have to actually close out of the application. Don't do that. It sometimes gets angry. If you have images that you want to run later, and I'll show you how to get those in a minute, then just to go to a blank screen for a little while, you use the blank screen option. Now I want you to notice we still have a song loaded. We still have the lyrics loaded, but we just want to make the screen blank. Use the blank screen button. And then the screen will go blank. Now let's suppose that you want to use, Pastor has a video that he wants to show. And so this gets a little complex, but I want to show you how to handle that on the OpenLP side right now. To do anything like that, to show something from somewhere else on the computer, do not close this window. See at the top left, there's the red X. Do not click that red X. The program gets angry. At least on Mac, the program gets angry, and then you'll have to restart. You might have to restart the computer, and it's just a messy situation. So you don't want to close this window. If you need to get to something else on the desktop, what you want to do is click the desktop button, show desktop. You'll notice this comes back. But then you can go to any other program. Suppose Pastor was wanting to show a YouTube. Okay, of course, you'd want to already have this loaded. But, suppose Pastor wanted to show a YouTube. And then you could come here and you could show that video. Because OpenLP will be showing the desktop, which will be shared with the monitors. And there's a little more setup involved with that. But for our purposes right now, I just wanted to show you what that button does. So let's go back to the, let's just turn that off, get back in our live mode. So if you're running songs on a Sunday morning, those are the basic tools that you need. Now let's look at importing and adding pictures, because that's another thing that you would encounter on a normal Sunday morning. Images. Let's say Pastor sends some images, says, hey, I'd like to show these during the message. Okay, well, you're going to have an email with those images, and then you're going to need to add them into OpenLP, and then you're going to need to add them to the service. So let's just suppose they're for this Sunday. So we're going to go load our service for this Sunday, but we need to go add the images now. A few different ways we can do that. So I'm just going to assume that you have saved them into your downloads folder on whatever computer you're on. But over here in our library, we want to have the images tab. And then we have some icons: add group, load new images, delete image, preview the image. Okay, so what we would want to do is load new image. Now you can add several images all at once, or you can add just one image. But again, I said, let's just assume they're in our downloads folder. And then we can select all three of them. These are images from another message, but they're just going to serve as an example. And notice I could click and drag and select all of them. I can import all of them all at once. I can press open. No group or new group. Now, the nice thing about a group is it groups them together just like as if it were a song, but instead of having different lyrics, it'll have the different images all in one group. So we're going to create a new group called Sermon Slides. Okay. And notice it created the group and shows all the different pieces. And then right-click Sermon Slides to add the whole set to the service. Now you'll notice in my Service Manager, click the arrow, and here they are. Now I want you to see here that there's a couple different things going on when we do images this way. The actual one being shown is here at the bottom. Here at the top, it's showing the next one in the order. It automatically defaults to show that. Notice this is in the middle. We've got 3 images. This numbers 34 borders is in the middle. If we go all the way to the top, there's the one that's showing. And I don't know if you can see it, but there's like a little border on it. You can double click here to switch. There's the tribes. There's the last one. Notice you can also single click right here in the previews. I do want to mention, let's just take these sermon slides as an example here. If we wanted these to be as a kind of a rotating announcements set. So you need a set of pictures to do this. Right? We've got a set of 3 pictures. You right click, autoplay slides. You would autoplay the slides in a loop. Okay, and now it's set. You can go back and you can change that delay. See what that looks like. It's just how many seconds? 5 is pretty good. You could move it a little bit higher, maybe 7 if you've got a lot of words. So that's how you could do automatic announcements. Oh, let's take a look at how you would create and edit songs. And this will be the last thing that we do. Let's suppose I want to do a new song by an artist named Mac Brock. It's something about Impossible God. I don't remember exactly, but Mac Brock, Possible God. Even the Impossible, that's the name of it. You can see a YouTube. You can see some lyrics. But let's go back to OpenLP. But we need to create that song. So I'm going to do the plus sheet in the songs library. You'll notice we have icons here in the songs library. Do the sheet with the green plus. The title, Even the Impossible. Now, the one downside to using this program is we basically have to type everything out. There's a couple of different services we can link in, but they don't, I believe they don't work quite right on the Mac side. And then the services are paid for. And so regardless, we have what we have and we make the best use of it. There's the title. We're going to add the lyrics in a minute, but we need to add the authors. Now, this is kind of important because this gets into a legal issue of licensing and permission to use these resources. We need to have the authors listed and we need to have the publishing and copyright information listed. So we need to go get that information. Depending on who put out the video and such, sometimes you can find that information here in the YouTube. Licensed by, artist. There are other ways to find it. There's a site called Worship Together that usually has the information. Even the Impossible, Worship Together. There it is. Let's see if it has the licensing. What you're looking for is CCLI and publisher. Because a lot of these songs, they're written by multiple artists. Notice as we scroll down, the writers, there's actually 4 different writers. And we don't see the publishing information here, but we do see a CCLI number, which is the licensing service that we use. So the first thing I'm going to do is go and I can take these artists and go ahead and put them in my song. I like to highlight and then we can copy and paste. And that just helps with, getting the right spelling. And if the artist's already in the library, then his name will be listed. So we want to put all 4 of the artists. I'm just, again, I'm just in my web browser. Copy. Any web browser will do. Right click, paste. All 4 artists, Matt Crocker. Right click, copy. Right click, paste. Add a song. And notice how I'm going down to my task manager or my dock on the Mac to switch between the different applications. Now we have the CCLI number. We can copy that. Highlight, copy. And that will help us get some of that information from the CCLI website. So we'll go CCLI song and then paste that in. Right click, paste, enter. Even the impossible, here we go. Now you'll notice some of the information isn't here. You have to sign in. The church does have a login we can set up if you're the one doing this. But let's see if there's one more way to get it. There's a site called Multitracks that usually has this information as well. So let's try searching that. Even the impossible Multitracks. There's the song. Let's try the overview. And then over here on the right, we see information year 2020. There's the writers. But it does give us the year, and it does say Sparrow Records. So we'll just go ahead and copy that for the CCLI. Excuse me. This is the publisher. We'll just go ahead and copy this for the publisher. Copy. Now here, I need to go to the copyright info, copyright information. I add the C, and then I paste in my information. If there's multiples, you may have to go in and put comma space. And then let's see, it was Worship Together that has the copyright number. Excuse me, the CCLI number. Right click, copy. Now, if you're in a pinch, I wouldn't worry too much about this, but and so then we just need to go and add the lyrics. We do that by clicking the add. Little window pops up. We need to get the lyrics from somewhere. Lots of options. Here on Worship Together, it has the lyrics. The default to show up is the chords, but then you can click the tab here. You get the lyrics. Now, I've noticed this one isn't exactly great for copy and paste. Let's give it a try here. Paste. Yeah, see, it formats it really funky. And so, unfortunately, that's not a great resource for the lyrics. It looks like this site Multitracks has the lyrics, and you can find the lyrics elsewhere too. I think this stone's getting ready to roll. I feel the faith that is starting to rise. How many words per line? Well, that depends on your theme. So this is where you rely on the preview. Let's press OK. Let's just act like we put in all the words. Save it. You'll notice it's highlighted here. That's what it'll look like Sunday. So the words per line is a good amount. Now that's a lot of words on a slide, and that slide is very bright where the words are. So I don't think that's going to be a great background for that song. We could let's just change it to default for now. And now double click the song again. So I mean that would be the maximum I would put on one slide. I would consider breaking that up. Now notice I already have the song. I don't have to put that information in again, but I want to make some edits. So I'm going to go here in my song library, right click the title and click edit. I can double click or I can single click and click edit. I think the stone's getting ready to roll. I'm trying to think what would look good to my eye if I were singing this, if I were in the congregation looking at this, what would help me? Or is that too many words on one slide? Let's see if all this fits on one slide. 4 lines is what I tend to go for maximum. Okay, save. Double click the title again. That's a lot of words, but for a verse, I feel like that's okay. Some churches will only have like 2 lines, or they'll have a lot less words. Every church has a different style. We are still using kind of the early 2000s style of, about a slide per verse or chorus, which is fine. Every church has their different way. You can go back and edit this. Let's say 2 lines. They're long lines, so let's say 2 lines is all you want. Cut it. And we're going to create a second slide for verse 1. Now check this out. You can use multiple slides for the same verse. And what it'll do is it'll just show them all in order whenever verse 1 pops up. So I press OK. Now, at the bottom, I want to draw your attention to this verse order. So here you type in abbreviations for every verse. You'll notice that they have abbreviations here on the left. So we would type verse 1. Let's create another one. This is chorus, and we'll call that chorus 1. So I would want to use that chorus, of course. Down here at the bottom, I put a space, chorus 1. Let's just suppose, for example, because I'm showing you how to build this, we wanted to go back to verse 1, and then we wanted to go back to chorus 1. So you notice I can list them all out, and then it'll actually go and list the repeats. So we'll save this, we'll double click it, and let me show you what happens here. Remember we had verse 1, chorus 1, verse 1, chorus 1. There you go. So there's a different style to do this for everybody. You can put all the different repeats that you have, or you can just put verse, chorus, and then go back and click to the different choruses. Excuse me. You can just put verse 1, chorus, verse 2, verse 3, and then you can go back and just click that second chorus. Let me show you what that would be like real quick. Edit. So let's say, we know we would go back to a chorus there, but I don't feel the need to list it again. So I just save. Right, and so now verse 1, chorus, and then suppose this was verse 2, you'd have to go back and click on the chorus. So it's just a different way to run the software. That's it. This software is pretty straightforward to use. It looks like a lot to take in, but once you know what you're looking at and how the different pieces work, it's a really straightforward software. I hope that helps you run lyrics on a Sunday morning and also create services as need. And have a blessed day.